Let me start with a pretty bold claim. You are not who you think you are. Now, I know that sounds a little crazy, but stick with me. By the end of this, you'll see that a huge part of your identity, your core sense of self, is really just an automated program, one that you didn't even write. So let's just dive right in with a question, and it's a huge one. Could one single person, with nothing more than a moment of doubt, actually stop the entire world from ending? Well, the answer to that question starts with this man, in a story that is so unbelievable it honestly sounds like something out of a movie. Welcome to part 1, The Man Who Saved the World. I want you to picture this. The date is September 26, 1983. You're Lieutenant Colonel Stanislav Petrov, and you're sitting in a secret Soviet nuclear command center. It's just 15 seconds after midnight when a deafening alarm starts to blare. Every single screen flashes a terrifying blood-red color with the words, "Launch detected." An American nuke is on its way. 2 seconds later, another one. By the 20-second mark, there are 5 missiles confirmed. The computer system declares with 100% certainty that the attack is real. Now, military protocol is brutally clear. You report the launch, and you begin an immediate, all-out nuclear counterstrike. The fate of humanity now rests on a decision you have to make in less than 1 minute.
And this is where the story just becomes incredible. Petrov, as our source material puts it, did something impossible. He ignored the system. I mean, think about it. Every single piece of data, every protocol he'd ever been taught, his own adrenaline, all of it was screaming at him, telling him to launch. But he didn't. He had this tiny flicker of doubt, just a gut feeling that something wasn't right.
So what Petrov just did in that terrifying moment, well, there's a name for that skill. It's called metacognitive intelligence. It's this incredible ability to take a step back and just rationally look at the systems that we're all living in, especially that super complex, messy operating system that's running inside your own head. And that right there takes us from the massive global scale of nuclear war all the way down to you, to the deeply personal. In our next section, we're going to explore what's called the invisible social cell and find out why, a lot of the time, you're probably more of a passenger in your own life than the actual driver. You see, the real issue here is something called system blindness, and you could argue it's the human mind's single biggest weakness. We all have this really deep-seated belief that we're in the driver's seat, right? That we're making all these conscious choices, when in reality, we're often just following a bunch of pre-written rules that we can't even see. And all of these invisible rules build up around us, creating what's called a social cell. It's such a powerful metaphor, isn't it? Just think about the invisible architects in your own life, the expectations of your culture, the beliefs your family raised you with, the algorithm that's curating your social media feed. All these things are quietly, constantly designing the walls of your reality. But how does this cell get built so easily and without us even noticing? Well, the answer is in something we'll call your brain's reality glitch. It's the science behind how we deceive ourselves. Okay, let's try a quick little thought experiment together. I want you to picture a normal plastic face mask. Got it? Now, imagine turning that mask around so you're looking at the inside of it. You should be seeing a hollow, concave shape, right? The nose should be going in. But for almost everybody, your brain will absolutely refuse to see that. It will actually project a normal outward-facing nose, even though it knows it's not real. So why on earth does that happen? It's because of a fascinating concept called predictive processing. See, your brain isn't a camera that's just passively recording the world. Nope, it's a powerful simulator that is constantly showing you its prediction of reality. And when the real world doesn't match its prediction, like seeing a hollow face, it will often choose to literally distort reality just to keep its internal model nice and stable. And why does it do this? The answer is shockingly simple: to save energy. Your brain is fundamentally an efficiency machine. It craves stable patterns, things like habit loops, fear loops, ego loops, because being consistent saves a ton of processing power. And to manage all of these shortcuts, it builds a master operating system. And that operating system, well, that's your identity. So how quickly do you think that identity can be completely overwritten by a new system? Take a look at this number: 6 days. That is how long it took in the famous Stanford prison experiment for normal, everyday college students to biologically transform into either cruel, sadistic guards or emotionally broken prisoners. Just 6 days. This unbelievably fast transformation is a process called identity normalization. And here's the crucial takeaway. Your identity will literally reshape itself, right down to your biology, just to match the rules and expectations of whatever social environment you're in. You become what the system needs you to be.
And look, this isn't just about some crazy extreme experiment. Having a high IQ won't save you either. This study shows it perfectly. Researchers gave math experts some really complex statistics problems. When the topic was neutral, something boring, they solved them perfectly. But when they were given the exact same math problem, but this time it was framed around a politically charged topic like gun control, their logic just collapsed. Their brains completely stopped trying to find the right answer and instead switched to defending their political identity. Okay, so we see the problem, right? We're living in this invisible cell that's built by our brain's own glitches. The big question is, how do we get out? Well, our final section has the answer. It's the 3-step adaptive loop, and it's your guide to breaking free. The secret isn't about knowing more facts or being smarter in the traditional sense. The key is developing what's called adaptive intelligence. True intelligence isn't about what you already know. It's about how quickly and how willingly you can update your own identity when reality gives you new information. And here is the actual practical game plan for doing that. It's the 3-step adaptive loop. It starts with how you think, it moves to where you live, and it ends with what you do. So, step 1, adopt a Bayesian mindset. Step 2, curate your social environment. And step 3, focus on repeated behavior. Let's break these down real quick. Step 1, adopting a Bayesian mindset. Sounds way more complicated than it is. All it means is this: stop treating your beliefs like they're permanent facts. Instead, treat them like they're just hypotheses, theories waiting to be tested. So the thought, "I'm not a good public speaker," isn't a final truth. It's just a theory. Your job is to go out, test it, collect some data, and then update your belief based on the actual evidence. Step 2 is all about building what's called a non-negotiable environment. See, just like your old environment shaped the person you are today, you now have to consciously, deliberately design a new one. And that means curating everything: your social world, your physical space, and your digital life, all to support the new identity you want to build. And finally, step 3. Now, this one is a little counterintuitive, but it is so powerful. You do not find your identity by thinking about it in your head. You build it through action. You observe your own repeated behaviors, and then your brain basically infers who you must be based on those actions. Action comes first, and then identity follows. So, how do you actually start this process? How do you become the architect of your own identity? Let's focus on one simple, powerful first step you can take literally today. Here it is, a simple, real action you can take the minute this is over. Start an identity journal. First, write down in as much detail as you can the person you want to become. Then, every single day, track the evidence. What actions did you take that line up with that person? And just as important, where were the gaps? Where did your behavior fall short of your goal? This creates the feedback loop that you need to make real change happen. And that brings us right back to the beginning, to the final crucial question. For most of your life, the old you was designed by others, by your culture, by your family, maybe just by pure accident. So the only question that really matters now is this: who is going to design the new you?